He got a pick six. Pike tricked up and then ends the world with the big one-hand. Here's the pitch. Back up the middle, that's going to be trouble. That one hit the post and then headed in.
I didn't know we had a good team, but a super regional was above and beyond what I expected. There's no doubt about that. And again, all the credit to the players. They continue to get better. It's everything that a coach wants. It's just improvement, buy-in, and it just kept coming.
Oh, the Roadrunners going on a type of run the school had never seen. We welcome you into the Sports Update presented by Martinez & Associates, Bobby Mendez, Hector Ledesma. UTSA baseball, just one of several things we'll talk about. U.S. Open, the third major in golf, is, depending on when you're watching this, either about to get underway or already in progress. NBA Finals going through. All of that and more, plus obviously the Spurs and little tizzy about Kevin Durant and whether that deal is actually done. But we start with those Dallas Cowboys. Organized team activities taking center stage through these first couple of months, weeks of the summer. Now it's time for mandatory mini camp. And one Micah Parsons, who is with the team now for mini camps, he's going to be there for training camp. Will he practice? That he doesn't know yet. Not answering that. It's part of talks about a contract extension, a possible contract extension. Cowboys and Parsons have been at this for a couple of months. And Parsons, in addition to saying, hey, we'll see if I'm going to actually practice, in addition to saying that, saying, hey, Jerry Jones is the owner. If he wants to make this thing go, it'll happen. Also implying he's the one that needs to initiate talks. So as you look at this, Bobby, Parsons and the Cowboys, they're not firm. Dallas isn't on where they stand right now officially with their best player.
You know, Micah Parsons taking a page out of Dak Prescott's playbook. You know, put it on Jerry Jones, make a move, do something. Micah Parsons has something for himself. I mean, he's been one of the most consistent players on the Cowboys football squad, and he is one of the brighter spots, or the brightest spot on the defensive side. So this is going to be important for Jerry Jones to respond pretty quickly. Otherwise, we're going to have another fiasco during minicamp.
If you look at the numbers, or you're wondering about the numbers, Parsons, because of the option, is set to make right around $24 million this year. He's looking for a contract of upward of $40 million. He wants to be the highest paid defensive player in the league. Who can blame him, given what he's done and given the trajectory of what we can see potentially going forward? And so it brings you back to the old, it's a troubled issue for the Cowboys. It's as old as time when it comes to Jerry Jones and the salary cap era, is how the Cowboys spend that money. You have $40 million going to Parsons potentially, in addition to all the money you're giving Dak, in addition to what you just recently did with CD. You look at, again, the way they're hamstringing themselves, and it's the reality of the NFL. They're not the only team that has this issue, but again, having to make decisions based on who they keep, what they do, and then basically all the parts that work around them.
Well, just putting it up to Jerry Jones whether or not he's going to open up that checkbook for this season. And again, as we all know, Hector, this is the Cowboys' year.
It also was at 2024, 2023, 2022, 2022. You get the point. Hey, someone for whom it really was their year this year, UTSA baseball. Yeah. How about the run that the Roadrunners went on this season? Ended in Los Angeles with a 2-game sweep and a best-of-3 super regional against UCLA. But the Roadrunners had never even won a game in NCAA postseason play before this year. They won 3 in the regional, knocking off Kansas State and then beating second-ranked Texas twice in Austin to get to this point. And just a fantastic season all the way around, Bobby, for UTSA. And it really sets the stage for what could come next.
Yeah, a very special season for the UTSA Roadrunners. And yeah, Coach Hallmark is campaigning. He is out there lobbying for this to continue to happen, right? He wants better facilities, and rightfully so. He wants to tell you, hey, this is what we could just not do this one year. This is a plan going forward, and what he's put together is really something special. And it is not just, in my opinion, it's more than just the play on the field. It's what they've done to set that stuff up for the Roadrunners to be successful going forward.
Since the end of the season, Mason Lytle, who was the American Athletic Coast Conference Player of the Year, named first team all-conference. No No surprise there, right? But Norris McClure and Jordan Ballin, Jordan, a freshman from Bernie, also named All-American, All-Conference team, I should say, second team, but they were voted on that team. And I don't think it's a stretch to say, Bobby, and I think we should say this really without hesitation. What UTSA baseball just did is the best a Roadrunner squad has done in the history of UTSA athletics, period. Like, the only thing that comes close is the football team a couple years ago that won the 12 games, won the Conference USA championship game. They ended up losing their bowl game. This team won the regular season league title, if you will, didn't win the conference championship, but when they got into the playoffs, the NCAA big dance version baseball style, they won 3 games. So it's not only like they went one round deep, they went several rounds deep for all intents and purposes with those aforementioned wins against Kansas State and 2 against UT.
You know, it's just been great to see since the inaugural year of football for UTSA. I mean, baseball's been there for quite some time as well. I can recall the times that I was there in the very, very late 1900s when we didn't have that. Well, we had basketball, volleyball, and baseball, track, and all those other good things. But football kind of was always the big deal. I remember reading the Paisano, hey, would you be willing to take an increase in tuition to have a football team? And the answer for all of us, a lot of us, was always yes, you know? Mm-hmm. And so here we are. And of course, no program is born overnight. It started off with the football team bringing in the attention that the university has. And now, you know, you would probably ask somebody 20 years ago, who's UTSA? Where is UTSA? Yeah. What is UTSA? And I think those things are changing for UTSA right now.
And for those of us who grew up here, and you mentioned going there, it was a commuter school.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't truly like the full university feel. It was like almost like a glorified junior college experience.
Right. And I got the experience to live on campus, right? So my mom, gave me the option, hey, Bobby, do you want a car? Do you want to live on campus? I said, let me live on campus. You know, I'm pretty sure I can get around and figure it out. But, you know, I lived on campus. It was a good experience, but I was one of the few people that lived on campus. And like you said, it was a commuter school. A lot of the students, you know, took classes at night, and it was just people who were professionals already, trying to get continue their education and those good things. But, you know, you look around and you go there now, it's a completely different campus. It's amazing to see what it's come to right now.
Times have changed greatly in the last 2 decades. How much more will they change specifically for the baseball program and for the athletics department in terms of funds coming in order to sustain this kind of success? We are just getting started right here on the Sports Update presented by Martinez and Associates. Is KD already a Spur? They just haven't announced it yet. We'll get into that next.
Ready! Set! Go!
It's a bad idea to run a foot race against these guys, just like it's a bad idea to go up against the billion-dollar auto insurance industry all alone.
Hire Martinez and Associates. With us, it's personal.
Welcome back to the Sports Update presented by Martinez and Associates. Hey, before we get into Kevin Durant, Bobby, any thoughts on Wemby's excursion and interest in, he's not becoming a monk, but at least going down that road of studying the ways?
Man, modern Renaissance man.
He really is.
He is just someone that is different. It's refreshing to see how his perspective is in life in general. His obviously, I don't know the man or the individual, but just everything I've seen, everything I've heard of Wemby. I've even caught a couple of clips of Kevin Garnett's podcast talking. They mentioned him being in China, shaving his head. But, you know, hey, man, you're young, get to experience the world. You get to do things that, you know, most of us will never get to experience. And I just feel he's a man of the world, just being able to experience different cultures, in this case, different experiences. So good for him. I think that's just going to make him a much better person and even a better teammate when it comes to it and it comes down back from his retreat or whatever that is.
It's surprising, but it's not surprising because in getting to know Vic a little bit, like he is very curious about the world around him. And he wants to take a lot of information as he reads a ton. So the fact that he wants to learn about other cultures and just look at different ways of approaching things is not surprising. But when you travel to China and you shave the head and you go through the whole process, that's another element to it. So like I said, surprising, but not really surprising. Hey, would it surprise you if Kevin Durant is already a Spur? The team just hasn't announced it yet. Yes, it would surprise me. Now, I know Bill Simmons sparked a lot of kind of commentary when he said, I think it's done. They just haven't announced it yet. They're going to announce it during draft week. Then he followed up and said, I don't have any inside information. That's just my thought. You have thoughts on this, Bobby. I know before you had mentioned, hey, I don't know if Kevin Durant is the right fit. Could he be the right fit at the right price? And I'll do you one better. Given the timeline, might he fit better for the Spurs considering they wouldn't have to give up a whole lot as opposed to Giannis, which has kind of been the story so far.
Yeah, and I think I remember that last conversation, at what cost, right? If he comes in, at what cost? If we are giving up the 14th pick, I think that's a pretty good deal. If we're keeping that number 2 and being able to bring in some young talent as well, and we're not able to get Giannis, I think that's still a win, a positive win. It's not a 30-point victory. It's still a victory, I think, in my view. Of course, Durant, he has his accolades and his ability to expand the floor. Him and Wemby on the same team, pretty amazing thought to have, especially with all the new talent that we have as well. So it's not a horrible thing in my opinion. I just feel that if we're able to land either him or Giannis, I think we're still going to be in a good spot.
Yeah, the thing, and I think I'm going to get into this more as we lead up to the NBA draft, but the thing I keep thinking is when people talk about Durant, does he fit the timeline? Giannis, does he fit the timeline? I think what people got to remember is it's not like the Spurs are chasing either of these guys to be the linchpin, to be the cornerstone. Victor Wembanyama is the cornerstone. Mm-hmm. So his presence gives you the luxury to go look at the options of a Kevin Durant. Right. And in other words, it's more cut and dry if you're looking at Kevin Durant and you're being like, okay, do we want to basically rest our franchise's future shoulders on a 37-year-old? No. But if you bring in that 37-year-old to back up, and backup seems kind of silly for when you're talking about KD, right? He's no one's backup, if you will.
Right.
But even at this age, you have to speak in those terms. If you're bringing him in to reinforce what we think Vic is going to do, what Castle's going to do, Fox is in place. You keep a Dylan Harper because you're giving up number 14 and other assets and a salary filler. That changes the entire conversation for me.
Yeah, I agree. And you mentioned Stephon Castle, Darren Fox. The list is good for the Spurs, even if we do have to get rid of or use some other assets to acquire Durant. Again, it's all about getting better. It's all about showing Victor Wembanyama that the Spurs are in it for him.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. It'd be fun. A couple more weeks until the NBA draft. Not done right now on the Sports Update. On the way next, U.S. Open golf talk, the third major of the year. Get into that on the way next.
Been in a crash? It's illegal for lawyers to contact you first. If yours did, it could ruin your case. Don't trust law firms that break the law. Choose Martinez & Associates, voted San Antonio's best law firm 3 years in a row. After you've been in a crash, go with the law firm you can trust. Call Martinez & Associates. With us, it's personal.
Call 210-337-1111. That's 210-337-1111.
You're gonna see me shine, 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 shine. Walking on beams of light, 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 light. Oh, 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 oh.
Sports Update presented by Martinez and Associates. If in need, give Martinez and Associates a call. 337-1111. The phone number, 337-1111. The website, martinez-law.com. For us, it's personal is your slogan, and it fits. Great attorneys, even better people. Go see Desi Martinez and Associates if in need. All right, Bobby, it's time for the third golf major of the year, the U.S. Open in Oakmont, Pennsylvania this year. You look at the storylines coming in, third major of the year, and oh, by the way, for Phil Mickelson, who's long in the tooth now, this could be his last ever chance to kind of bring in and finish that career Grand Slam. He's never won the U.S. Open, won the other three majors, but this may be the last chance because of the major he won several years ago, which gave him the extension to still be able to play to this point, but along with Ricky Fowler and a host of other names, golfers best vying for one of the top crowns in all of the sports. So, any initial thoughts here, Bobby, on who you're going to be looking out for in Oakmont?
It's just going to be exciting. Golf, no matter what. I mean, I can think back 10 years ago, maybe 15 years ago, where, oh boy, such a boring sport. You know what I mean? And, it's on. But I don't know if it's age. And maybe it's age and the growth and popularity of golf. And, me being able to play a little bit more, sometimes I feel great and sometimes I don't. But it's great to see. And again, it's really hard to just kind of pinpoint one individual, one golfer, because like you just mentioned a few moments ago, Phil Mickelson, how can you not root for the guy, knowing that he's a legend, he's coming towards the end of it, and even a few years ago when he did win that, the major, and it was just quite a sight. Thinking, hey, maybe that was the time that he was going to be winding down, but no, he's still there.
Yeah. And don't be surprised if he doesn't even make the cut. Like it's just basically factually, it's his last chance. So when he's in the tournament, we'll see if he's still around on Saturday. But in terms of odds-on favorite, it's tough to go against Scottie Scheffler, #1 ranked player in the world. Man who's won 3 of the last 4 tournaments in which he's taken part. It's really hard to look at him and not go, yeah, that's the odds-on favorite. Now it's golf, right? So you're against the field. So it's always risky to make predictions in that way. But that's your starting point. I think if you're looking at Scottie Scheffler, has his 3 majors, looking for the U.S. Open, and he's a great story there. Another one that, because of relatively recent success, you really can never lose sight of, and he's fun, is Rory McIlroy, right? You look at Rory, and it's easy to forget that before his most recent major win, he hadn't won one since 2014 because he's constantly in the top 5, always, one of the biggest names in golf, always near the top. But you look at Rory, you look at Scottie Scheffler, obviously other guys, Bryson DeChambeau, Jon Rahm, the list goes on in terms of guys who could win it and are favored to win it. But I think those two names that you can easily look out for as you get through the weekends.
Yeah, Bryson DeChambeau, boy, can he kill the ball, man. I saw something the other day. I think he drove about 415
It's ridiculous.
yards.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah, the forever courses had to tiger-proof it. Mm-hmm. You're not having to deal with the Bryson factor because what he's doing, to Bobby's point, is ridiculous. A friend of the show, Trudy Trevino-Stone, making a point, said, hey, when you watch this tournament, look for the actual field of play itself. He goes, the way they keep the grass and the way they mow it makes for higher grass, and it makes for some higher scores, and maybe some of the bigger names don't get through. That's something to watch out for as well. Trudy, fantastic, not only golf analyst per se, but plays the game and has her own show, Trending with Trudy. You want to ever check it out on Facebook as well. We are not done here on the Sports Updates presented by Martinez and Associates. Up next, NBA Finals talk. They're underway. Get into that on the way next.
Ready! Set! Go!
It's a bad idea to run a foot race against these guys, just like it's a bad idea to go up against the billion-dollar auto insurance industry all alone.
Hire Martinez and Associates. With us, it's personal.
Welcome back to the Sports Update presented by Martinez and Associates. NBA Finals in full swing, Bobby. Already played games 1 and 2, depending on which you're catching this. They probably already played game 3, but as of shoot time, game 3 Wednesday at 7:30. Indiana winning game 1 on the Tyrese Halliburton buzzer beater. Game 2, Oklahoma City firing back. Game 3, game 4 is on Friday. Game 5 would be Monday, and then you get into the if necessaries. Something tells me we'll get into the if necessaries in this series with game 6 and 7 still to come. But Oklahoma City, the home court advantage before the series shifting to Indiana for games 3 and 4. Of course, this show and everything associated with it made possible by Martinez and Associates. Give them a call if in need, 337-1111. Again, 337-1111. The website, martinez-law.com. Great people, great attorneys. For us, it's personal is their slogan, Bobby, and it really is for them. You know, you talk to Desi and the folks who work there. They care about the case, but they care about people so much as well.
Yeah, Desi's been a big part of the community for such a long time, and we really thank him for his sponsorship here. And hey, if you want to thank him too, Hector just gave you the number, 210-337-1111. But yeah, give him a call. Tell him thank you.
Yeah, he does do a lot of neat things, a lot of sports entities that people really at large don't know about, but it contributes a lot so that young athletes especially can go forward with their seasons, equipment, and otherwise. Finals, Bobby, we looked at the schedule. We talked about it. 1-1 shifts back to Indiana for games 3 and 4. What do you think?
First of all, I just want to thank personally Tyrese Halliburton for justifying my comments about his continuously being able to nail big shots in big games. And he did that in game number 1. That was an amazing shot. But I just, I don't watch a lot of Indiana Pacer basketball throughout the year.
Yeah.
But when I do watch, I see him making big shots and big plays. And he's a big reason for where the Indiana Pacers are right now. So just looking forward to another good game.
Full disclosure, I was doing something with my daughter that night, and so I really wasn't watching game 1, but I would check in, and it's like Oklahoma City by 14, Thunder by 17, Thunder by 8, and I'm like, okay, this game's over. And then as the game gets closer, I'm like, let me tune in to see if Hallie does something. Sure enough, the game winner to win game 1. Now, again, the Thunder have since restored order, some would say, since then, but that is the way that the series has gone thus far, with the rest of it still to go, and then the end of the NBA season leading up to the draft. Bobby Mendez, Hector Ledesma, another sports update presented by Martinez and Associates in the books.
All right.
We will see you next week right here from the KLMO studios. Have a great one, everybody.
Been in a crash? It's illegal for lawyers to contact you first. If yours did, it could ruin your case. Don't trust law firms that break the law. Choose Martinez and Associates, voted San Antonio's best law firm 3 years in a row. After you've been in a crash, go with the law firm you can trust. Call Martinez and Associates. With us, it's personal.
Call 210-337-1111. That's 210-337-1111.